Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode, a super episode, some might say, of Grandstand Gurus, the number one sports podcast on the Explosion Network. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jack Kruse, and I'm joined this week by the most luscious beard in the Explosion Network, our resident NFL guru. It's Nick Pryor.
I'll claim that title because I know Tom doesn't listen to this, so he can't object.
Tom doesn't listen to anything. We could say whatever we wanted about Tom on this show, and I don't think it would matter. I don't know if he's even listened to the episode he was on.
I doubt it.
Oh, well. How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, no, good. Thank you for joining me tonight.
A pleasure.
Of course, I had to have you on, considering the events of the past week. And I'd ask for your highlight, as we normally do at the start of the show. We sort of go around the table and we all say, oh, what's your highlight? And a bit of rah. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory what yours would be.
Yeah, I'll go something... Obviously, them winning is the highlight, but I think one particular play...
Them being the Patriots.
Yes. Patriots, my team. Was the Jags were coming back towards the end, and it looked like they had a go-ahead touchdown, but Stephon Gilmore, which we had pretty troubled performance earlier in the year, but he's come good, made a spectacular pass block to stop the Jags from coming back and pretty much winning us the game.
Now, we're going to jump straight into the topic one, which is reviewing the game. And don't worry about my highlight, because I don't really have one. Nick Kyrgios lost, and the Australians keep losing the cricket, so I don't have a highlight. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, obviously, this is going to be a very NFL championship match focused show this evening. But I just want to touch on that very quickly, what you just mentioned as your highlight, because obviously with the Patriots, the situation as it was, down pretty much all game. I think they led in the first quarter, and then after that they were behind up until like in the second last minute of the game. And all the talk in the media and everything has been around Tom Brady.
Yep.
And fair enough too.
The GOAT.
Obviously, the GOAT. Undisputed now, I think it's fair to say.
Easily. And
second, only closely followed by Peyton Manning, but it's clear now
he's
that...
up there.
He's up there.
there.
Manning's a great player. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But all the talk has been around Brady, and it's Brady, and Brady's so good, and Brady got him there, and Brady's clutch, Brady this, Brady that. Yeah. But some of the other sort of discussion that I've heard in bits and pieces is around the defense should really be what's lauded as far as the Patriots getting up and being able to win the game. So, talk to me about that. We'll touch. Obviously, we'll get to Brady and his performance. But how did the defense hold up? They seem to be getting some well-deserved plaudits, but not quite as much as they deserve.
They're not. They're up there in the defense, but they have had a lot of struggles throughout the year, and they're what considered as a bend but don't break defense. So what generally happens is they give up big plays and stuff, but they make the stops where it counts. I think they're like number one in red zone defense, where red zone is the last 20 yards of the field before the goal. Yep. Yeah, so like they have some top tier players, but nowhere like superstar level. What Belichick does is he gets no-name players or players that are having lulls in their career, gets them in, and they become part of what's known as the Patriot way, where they just all click and just focus on the game and no outside stuff. So, I mean, like, being hard, like, I listen to, like, Patriots podcasts and, like, their post-game show, and as they say, Patriots fans are used to winning, so they're a lot more critical of their team as well. Like, they expect which isn't, like, it's not to say that's a good thing, but when you've had 18 years of pretty much dominance, it's hard to not get used to that as well.
No, of course. Yeah, I think I sort of experienced a similar thing, and not so much. I mean, it happens, I think, in any sport, is that you get a taste of success and you expect it. Yeah. Like you almost feel like you're entitled to it now. It's like, all right, well, you've shown me that you can do it. Now keep doing it, and I won't accept anything less.
Yeah, it'll go to show who the fair weather fans are when Brady retires and Belichick retires.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's look. I experienced a similar thing with the Bulldogs this last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, they they performed in 2016. They won the premiership. By no means were they of a Patriots sort of standard as far as the top team and expected to win and that kind of thing. But they, we tasted success, and the next year the expectation is obviously on them to perform again. You're at the top of the mountain.
Of course, yeah.
You need to, stay up there. You're the hunted, all the sort of that kind of rhetoric, and it's quite difficult going from a team right at the top to what we experienced, which was basically a very poor performance the next year, and we didn't even make the finals.
Yeah.
But you hit on a really interesting point about the fair weather fans, and they definitely came out in force this year.
Oh yeah, look, it's bound to happen. That's just sports in a nutshell.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I just want to touch back on the Bulldogs. Like, I don't know much about the AFL myself. Is there a lot of player movement in between seasons?
Not quite to the extent of the NFL. Like, the NFL's quite cutthroat in that, obviously they start with, 90, something like that.
Yeah, it's like 90 odd players on the roster. And
they cut it down to 55 or something ridiculous
50,
like that.
52.
Yeah.
52 active players on a roster, yeah.
Yeah, and then guys getting cut mid-season and all kinds of things like that.
And everything like that, yeah.
Baseball's very similar. Players getting traded sort of, one week to another, but not to that sort of extent. We have our trade period, which runs way too long. It goes for, I think, 2 weeks now, a week and a half, something ridiculous like that. Should be just one. It used to be 1 week. For some reason, they've extended it, and 90% of the deals all go down on the last day. They've got 2 weeks to fluff around, and it's just a waste of time. But not to that extent. I mean, you generally see probably 10 in, 10 out as far as a year goes. That's probably around general for the AFL. So that's across the board. So that's drafting players, trading in players, free agents, retirements, delistings, that kind of thing. So not to the extent of the NFL or the baseball or in basketball, but enough. And the thing with the AFL, I mean, I was going to say that it's quite a larger team on the field, but you think about the NFL, I mean, they've got like 4 different teams that can go on the field, or 3 different teams.
There's substituting packages and different defenses and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but to answer your question, yes, but not to the extent of the other sports. Yeah,
I think that's just the way with US sports in general. It's treated more like a business than it is. I mean, that's not to say there isn't rivalries and passions there. It's just
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm quite a traditionalist, traditionalist as far as my sport goes, especially as far as my AFL goes, and so I get a little bit sort of I hate when players leave my club. Like it's like you're blacklisted, you're done, you're dead to me,
dead to me.
Yeah, and but when you bring the players in, obviously it's all fair game.
Part of the family.
Yeah, exactly right. But I'm like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I prefer the one club player, the guy who gets drafted in as an 18-year-old and he's there until he's 35 or however long he's at the club for. And the AFL's moving more into that. Yeah, we want to be a business. We don't want to be just a grassroots sport and that kind of thing. And they've introduced things like the free agency that's completely opened up the market for players to move freely, and it's becoming more and more each year. Back in the day, to lose a superstar player from your club was very rare. It would be very, but clubs it would happen, but it wasn't like, often. And it would be a massive thing when it happened.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's every year. Like there's the story every year in the AFL of X big player is a free agent out of contract. Where's he going? It's, it's discussed all through the year. It comes up at every press conference. It's, it's feeding frenzy for the media.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer players to, stay where you're drafted, especially the superstars. I don't like seeing superstars move from clubs because, you put a lot into these guys, you build them up, you train them, and then they walk out and go win someone else a premiership. It breaks your heart.
It's hard as a fan, but you also got to think of the way the player too. Like, if he feels like he's not getting anywhere or can't win where he is because of whatever, or he's having clashes with the organisation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's always extenuating circumstances. Yeah. We spoke about the Jake Stringer situation ad nauseum last year.
Yeah.
Just, as one example. But and it's hard to begrudge a young kid, 20 years old, 21 years old, 22 years old, gets offered $1 million a year to go play footy somewhere else. It's hard to begrudge a young fella to take an opportunity like that. So, yeah. What's it? as far as the NFL goes,
Yep.
because obviously I never hear of the big clubs losing their Peyton Manning was basically pushed out of the Colts.
Yeah,
So that's a different sort of story. But you never hear about the Giants are going after Peyton Manning, or this, that, and the other, going after this wide receiver and that kind of thing. The NFL clubs don't seem to lose their superstars as much.
Yeah, it's more like when it's more up and coming like superstars that are coming out of their draft contract, their rookie contract, and the teams can't afford to keep them on, so another player would give them the money that they think they deserve. Mm-hmm. Or there's players like Darrelle Revis that left the Jets because they wouldn't pay him, so into the Patriots, and they won a title, and then he went straight back to them for the money. And yeah, it's more to do with money and salary caps and whatnot. Like, there's the likes of, it sounds like I'm sucking Tom Brady's dick, but he does. he obviously doesn't need the money because his wife is a Victoria's Secret model, Giselle Bundchen or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
But he takes pay cuts so he can have a better team around him. Where, like, I don't want to name names, but like other players are more in it for the money than the team kind of aspect.
Yeah.
As well. Like.
Yeah. Like
plus, there's a thing too when they're coming into free agency. Each team gets a franchise tag, which they can put in. Like Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers is coming out of his contract, and the Steelers would effectively put on a franchise tag where he can't go to another team for that 1 year. So it's like locked into a 1 year contract while they renegotiate their contract, and if they can't make a deal, then they go somewhere else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's I've never heard that before. Sort of lock them down and like this. Is that you get like one per year or one? Per
you only get one per year.
Yeah,
like you can only use it once. Yeah, and a lot of teams, like I think last year only 5 or 6 were used. Yeah. So it's not used often. It's more like when they feel like they really need them and can't afford to pay him, or
interesting. So how do they get paid then? They get paid outside the
they still get the team still pays them, but it's like locked into like another 1 year of their contract of what they were on. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's right. That's weird.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
Which Le'Veon Bell said earlier in the year, if he gets franchise tagged, he'd rather retire or sit out for a year than being locked into something like that.
Yeah, that seems kind of unfair to the players almost. Like, that's quite... I memean, I like the idea of it from an AFL point of view. Like, yes, lock him down, don't let him leave. But that to me just sort of like... I mean, you're going to get a disenfranchised person on it, no pun intended, playing for your team. He doesn't want to be there, who is, obviously thinking about leaving. He's going to be disinterested. He's not going to be committed to the club, and then you lose him the next year anyway. Like and it doesn't seem fair from the player either. Like, what happens if there's a whatever $100 million, I don't know what the NFL players are getting paid, contract on the table for some of these guys, and he gets locked into this franchise deal for a year and does his knee, blows his knee out, and then misses out on this massive contract. It seems a little bit unfair.
So, I'll read the definition. In the NFL, the franchise tag is a designation a team may apply to a player scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent. The tag binds the player to the team for 1 year if certain conditions are met. Each team only has one franchise tag.
Interesting. What are the conditions? Do we know what the conditions are?
Just let me have a look. An exclusive franchise player must be offered a 1 year contract for their amount no less than the average of the top 5 salaries at the player's position as of date in April of the current year, which the tag will apply, or 120% of the player's previous year's salary, whether it is greater. Whichever is greater.
Yeah, that.
So it's not like they're losing out on money. It's just they're locked
fair.
out of moving. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds more fair. That they get average of the top players in the competition, or they get 120% of their current salary. That I can stomach that a bit better, because if they were on like a rookie contract and they've got a massive one on the that's not fair. But that sounds a bit more fair. Some players might want to get franchised for the year.
Exactly, like they don't want to move as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
Their agents would use that as sort of like a. I guess a bit of a ploy to get him good money for 1 year and then sign an extended deal, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, it's sort of I can see it. That to me, I can stomach that a little bit better, more so than they get the same as what they were on, because that to me is completely unfair. So back to the game, to the Pates Jag game. How are you feeling through this game? Obviously, halftime it's 14 to 10.
Yep.
And then
I was pretty because Stacey was working. I was watching the game. She come out on a break, and I was grumpy as. I mean, it's frustrating watching them, but I'm used to it as well for being behind and coming back. Like, you always got to put Brady is known as the clutch player. Like, it's the 11th postseason come from behind win he's done, and like the 54th overall in his career. Like,
crazy.
If there's time on the clock left and he's got the ball, like, it's a high chance that he's going to come back. It's more the defense you've got to worry about making a stop as well, which they performed in the second half.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. They definitely. I mean, they locked only 2 field goals in the second half to Jacksonville after the 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. And you talk about Brady. I mean, the 2 quarterbacks' stats were very similar.
Yeah. Bortles played well above his station.
Yeah, I mean, he had 23 completed from 36, and Brady had 26 from 38.
In the first half, he had like 293 yards, where Brady only had 290.
Yep, exactly, yep. Very interesting, very interesting. Obviously, the 2 touchdowns, the big difference between the two. No, the extra touchdown to Brady, the big difference. But
and it goes to show the difference in level of organisation too. Like the Jags at the end of the first half with 55 seconds left, they could have driven and gotten potentially another field goal or another touchdown before the half, but they decided to, instead of trusting their players to make the plays, they've thought like, we can't fuck it up here and give Brady back the ball with this much time in the end of the half for them to score goals. Like, it goes to show how much trust they have in their players and whatnot to perform.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? They make that call, and it goes a long way to, it's obviously. I mean, that could have been the difference. Like you said, they drive through, they get that extra touchdown, and they still win by a field goal. Instead, it goes the other way, and now.
The other big one that a lot of people say is controversial was there was a play where Brady threw the ball to Amendola, then Amendola threw the ball to Lewis for a screenplay, and they were running up the field, and Lewis went down, lost the ball, and the other player recovered it, and then was running down the sideline, but it was called dead, where a lot of people were saying like that was a bullshit call, the ref should have let the play go or whatnot, but they got to understand from the ref's point of view, they didn't know if either Lewis was down before he lost the ball, or if the player that recovered the ball was contacted before running off with it. So the rule is, if you're down by contact, so if you're down and you're touched by an opposing player, the play's called dead. Where the guy that recovered the ball was touched by the feet of Lewis. So it was the right call, but a lot of people in their biases and cheatriots are saying like, the refs shouldn't have called it dead. That would have won him the game. They would have been down by 18 points or something like that. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Interesting. It is certainly. It's never not. It's never not. So Brady. Let's talk about Brady quickly before we move on to the second game. I heard a very interesting. Someone made a very interesting comment yesterday. They said that, or it might have been. Yeah, it was yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yep. They said that if I'm buying a new car and it's a manual, I want Tom Brady as my clutch. Now, this guy, like you said, he's clutch. He's all the 11 postseason come from behind victories and all the rest, and we all know. So, what's next for this guy? I mean, he's won this game. He's pulled off that touchdown in the last 2 minutes. That was second and goal. I mean, the one where, what was it, 3rd and 18, and he drove in. He made that pass for 21 yards. Like, unreal.
Made a first down. Danny Amendola, like, he outstanding that game. Honestly, he said himself that he won't retire until he sucks.
Yeah.
And he is that focused on competing. Like, I can't imagine him slowing down for another 2 years yet, to be honest. That's great. He's already the oldest. Like, he's 40 this year, 41 next year, yeah. I mean, Brett Favre had retired by this point. Yeah. It's unprecedented, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And there was a lot of drama going into the game too, with like Brady was missing practices and stuff because of a hand injury where he received 12 stitches.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. It's crazy.
And sorry?
I was just saying, it's crazy. That you have 10 stitches in your hand and still be able to
I think a lot of it too, like, they're playing it up as well. Like, the Patriots don't like giving any information at all to anybody. And I think there was kind of like mind games as well to make him think like, oh, Brady's injured, we could have a chance here and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. There was like a game earlier in the year, they were playing at home and Belichick made him put like thermometers up in all the opposing teams' lockers and hallways and stuff just to show how cold it was there.
That's quite clever.
Yeah.
That's quite clever. So is Bill Belichick, it's undisputed, Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't think we can dispute that anymore. He's the greatest. Is Belichick the greatest coach of all time?
In my opinion, yes. Yeah, he is. It's like a lot of the stuff around him, like the Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, and Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, are a big part of it too. But Belichick is just like on the next level in the way of thinking and designing plays and stuff. It's just crazy.
Well, let's move this topic into what was going to be our third topic, but we might as well continue on the Patriots train. I want to know what it's like to be a Patriots fan in 2018. And you're the most hated team by far.
Yeah.
I think you were the only person I saw tweet out or on social media in any way, shape, or form that wasn't something along the lines of F Tom Brady, F the Patriots after that win.
Yeah.
And this is, it's pretty standard with sports. Everyone was going for the Bulldogs when we were the underdogs going through.
Yeah.
Everyone was going for Jacksonville. Everyone wanted Jacksonville to win. You guys are the villains. Nobody likes the Patriots other than Patriots fans. Everyone's sick and tired of Tom Brady and the Patriots, Deflategate, all of that stuff. How does that make you feel? Do you care? Do you wish people were a bit more kinder, or do you just relish in it?
I don't like I can take it on the chin, that's fine, but it makes me not want to talk to people about it as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, what do you do? Like, people just come out with anything to unlegitimize anything they've done. Like, yes, Spygate was a thing. Spygate was a thing, but every team was doing it. Like, and they just happened to do it in the wrong place. Deflategate, don't get me started on that, but if you read the actual report, there is no conclusive evidence that anything actually happened. It's just all based on the fact that Tom Brady got a new phone and deleted his old one or something like that.
Right.
Which I can understand from an outside point of view. It's suspicious, but also the NFL isn't like a governmental authority that has the power to delve into your personal stuff. But it is what it is. Like, and everyone says like the league favors the Patriots, like makes calls go their way and stuff like that. But Brady was suspended for 4 games, and they took draft picks off them as well and fined them. It's like, what way do you want it? Do you want it that they hate the Patriots and want to get them, or do they want to? Do they favour the Patriots and everything goes their way? It's just, I don't know. I just roll my eyes and just don't engage, really. Yeah,
no, fair enough. And it's interesting you make the point about the illegitimising everything you do. I heard someone on radio yesterday make the comment that it's not that the Patriots are so good, it's that the rest of the NFL is so mediocre, and that's why they keep winning. Is there any substance to that? How does that make you feel?
Look, I don't know. Like, there were a lot of calls that went our way, and like there was 9 penalties to 1 in that game, but they're just that much of a more disciplined team. Like, take it what you will say coming from me being a fan, but I like to think that I'm unbiased.
Yep.
Like, I don't hate any team. I don't think any, like, I don't know. It's just, like, I don't know what to say really.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from, and
Yeah.
we copped it. I mean, this was the other thing, right? And no one likes the person that's on top.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I think it's a lot of it too. Like they've been so dominant for so long.
Yeah.
Like
It's tall
it's
poppy
just
syndrome.
easy to
right?
hate them. Yeah,
Yeah, it's tall poppy syndrome. And the same thing happened to us. Like, I'll keep relating it back to the Bulldogs, but when we won the grand final in 2016, everyone was barracking for the Bulldogs. Everyone wanted the Bulldogs to win. No one was barracking for Sydney. If you were an AFL supporter and you weren't barracking for either team, you were barracking for the Bulldogs. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, that's how it was. If you weren't a Sydney supporter, you were a Bulldog supporter that
Yeah.
week. And then after the grand final, after we'd won and the dust settles and everyone gets over the emotion of the event, it becomes about, oh, you were favoured by the umpires, and oh, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
won if this hadn't happened, and this call went this way, and this call went that way, and people pick the eyes out of, and I saw some video some fool made about, oh, look, this decision went the Bulldogs' way, and this decision
Yeah.
went the Bulldogs' way, and this decision went the Bulldogs' way, etc., and so on, and you can pick the eyes out of anything to
Yeah.
make, there's a million moments in a game of football, in
Exactly.
NFL as well as AFL, and
you gotta
to-
understand as well. Like refs in all games are just people as well. They make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly right. For people to sort of make the assumption or the accusation that umpires generally favour particular teams, I think
Yeah,
it's asinine. I think there's definitely teams that get a rough run of it.
Yeah.
Because either they're disliked by the umpires or referees,
Yeah.
or they've had run-ins with certain umpires, and that way,
Yeah.
or certain players have had a targeted, or not so much targeted, but aren't given the same free kicks that other players are because they might play
Yeah.
for free kicks or penalties and that kind of thing. So that kind of stuff definitely happens. But to say that referees and umpires favour certain teams to me is just a bit juvenile.
a lot of things backing up that theory or hyperbole or whatever is like after the game the head ref come over to Brady and pretty much congratulated him, but he's been a ref 10 plus years. Brady's been in the league for 10 plus years. It's like, is it really that hard to grasp that they might just have a healthy working relationship? Like at the end of the day they're like co-workers really.
Yeah no, definitely.
It's not like you go out like you say I don't know if it happens, but like I say hello and to everyone I work with and friendly with everyone I work with. It's like no different. It's not like the refs are there to officiate the game. They're not there to get out and get anybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. So how does it feel? Like, all of that aside, all of the scuttlebutt and the hyperbole aside, how does it feel to be in another Super Bowl, favourites just about, again?
Yeah. Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's hard to take any pride in the fact that all you do is really support a team and you have no real effect in any way that it goes. But I'll be honest, it feels good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for Super Bowl Sunday, or Monday as it will be here?
I'll likely be going to my cousin's to watch the game where a lot of because I'm in a fantasy comp with him and a lot of his friends, so we're all watching at his place. I'll probably get very drunk and either happy or sad.
How did the fantasy team go this year?
It come back at the end, but I got shafted. Like 4 of the players throughout the year, like my best players, got season-ending injuries.
Oh no!
So I had to scrape by in like free agency and trying to get players traded and whatnot.
Oh, no good.
But yeah, no
good.
Just do it for fun.
Next year.
There's no money involved.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, now let's move quickly on to the second game. We can just briefly touch on this. So what did you say?
Sorry, Brendan.
Sorry, Brendan. Yeah, this was heartbreaking for him. Not as much. I mean, I feel like this game, Philadelphia, similar, have been in recent Super Bowls, have had modicum of success as far as championships and that.
Well, it's the first Super Bowl they've been in what was it, 11 years? I think. Yeah. And the last time they played the Patriots too.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone wanted the Vikings to win this.
I wanted the Vikings to get in.
Everyone did. There was no one that... This is, it's the same thing. It's a Bulldogs thing. Everyone wanted the Vikings to win this match. And it just didn't happen for them. And I felt so bad because, I know I have a lot of Obviously, our good friend Brendan, Vikes fan. I have some Jacksonville fans as well, but I have a lot of a few friends who are Minnesota fans, and you got to feel for them. But they just did not put up a fight. They. Do you think there was a little bit of, I guess they sort of thought they were just going to walk away with this one?
I think so. Yeah, I think they were more focused on the Super Bowl playing at home, and they pretty much thought they had their ticket punched. But they got to understand that the Eagles were number 1 in the NFC this year. Like, they were no pushover.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is like both teams are on their backup quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, which was on track to become the league MVP, got a season-ending injury, and Nick Foles is like the comeback, like the underdog hero. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they thought they were going to have it walk all over them. Yeah, and they just didn't show up.
No, they didn't. They got trounced. I mean, 38-7. They really did, and that's probably the most disappointing. I mean, if they went down fighting, you could, you could give them I guess a pat on the back, but they just did not give a whimper. One touchdown.
The first drive was the only drive they really showed up for.
Yeah. But that happens, teams do that. And it happens in every sport. Teams, if you give, and this is the thing with any professional sport, if you give your opponent one iota of a sniff that you are not on your game, or you think this is going to be an easy job, and you don't take it 100% serious, you're gone. Yeah. And it happens all the time. Yeah,
I think like the Eagles come back for a return touchdown, and then next time the Vikings were on, Case Keenum threw a pick and it ended up going for a touchdown. I think that just took all the air out of their sails.
Yeah.
I know myself, like when you play a game and then it starts going your way, it's hard not to feel deflated and like think, oh, what can I do here?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame. I mean, you got to feel for him, but them's the breaks. That's sport, I said the other day, lick your wounds, drain your sorrows, and come back for more pain next year, because it doesn't get much easier. There'll be more pain for him next year. But it's unfortunate, but that's what happens. That's sport.
That's it.
What do you think was the key, other than what we've already spoken about with it? Maybe the Vikings being a little bit taking a little bit too easy. What do you think the key was to the Philadelphia's success? Just
strong defense, really. That's really what put them in there. Like, shutting down everything that the Vikings could do. It was just, that really got them going.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
And what, as far as we'll touch on this a little bit, because the Super Bowl's still a couple of weeks away, but how do you feel about the Super Bowl? Fortnight away, Philadelphia, it's in Minnesota versus the Patriots. I mean, if there's anywhere in the world you probably don't want to be during winter, it's Minnesota. Like, it's
luckily, it's an inside stadium.
Yeah, well, that's it too. Yeah, that is lucky. How do you think? What's your gut feel at the moment?
Cautiously optimistic. Mm-hmm. That's the way I felt all year, really.
Yeah.
Like, ever since the first game we got trounced by the Cardinals. Oh no, the Chiefs. It's been like, can we do it this week? Can we do it this week? And then somehow we end up pulling it out. But Gronk may or may not be out because of the concussion protocol. We're down Edelman, but we've been down him all season. It'll be a lot of third and fourth receivers there. But we're also missing our best defensive player, Donta Hightower. He's been out for quite a while now, but we seem to make do. But the Eagles aren't going to be a pushover, as we found out yesterday. So
yeah, no doubt. No, they were impressive. They were very impressive. Against a team that wasn't completely on their game, but impressive nevertheless. And to pretty much from, obviously it was one touchdown all at quarter time, but they dominated the game after that, and
very much
the Vikings didn't really give a whimper, which is unfortunate.
No. Yeah,
for the Vikings fans, I feel for them. I've been there.
It's hard to also the Eagles fans are notorious for being obnoxious as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it hard to stomach.
They're doing a mockery of the bloody Viking chant like towards the end of the game, just rubbing it in their faces, and
uncalled for.
very much so. But
Oh dear. Oh.
they're got a very obnoxious fan base, kind of like Greater Western Sydney Warriors, Wanderers, or whatever the soccer team.
The
the
Sydney
hooligans
Wanderers.
type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. That's an interesting. I'd like to cover that topic one day on this show. Who's the most obnoxious fan base in sport?
Yeah.
I reckon there'd be a few. Collingwood would probably be the one in the AFL, or Essendon. They're the worst, I reckon. Yeah, Collingwood and Essendon, but Collingwood specifically because they've. Anyway, I don't want to spoil that topic. I don't want to use up all that good
just
stuff.
an anecdote that I read today that the cops in Philadelphia greased up all the light poles so the fans couldn't climb it in case they won.
I heard that. I heard that today. That's hilarious. Oh, brilliant. Very brilliant. Well, yes. No, like it's gonna be exciting. Obviously, these two teams have faced off in the Super Bowl before, so where I'll be watching with bated breath to see how the game turns out. I will be, I think I will be mid-flight when the game is actually starting, so I'll be heading back from RTS.
Oh, okay, you're coming back on the Monday.
Yeah, so I may miss it, but I'll definitely be checking the scores as soon as I land and probably catch the second half of the game, maybe at the airport there. All right, moving on.
Yep.
I mean, have you got something you're looking forward to? Is there something other? Obviously, Super Bowl's 2 weeks away. Have you got an event, a sporting event in the calendar, something penciled in? You got a round of golf? You gonna watch any of the tennis? You gonna catch any of the cricket? Probably not.
Maybe to see how far the Socceroos get, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah. Bring back pre-season.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair
Might
enough.
watch a bit of the hockey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's there's a bit of sport. There's a lot of sport going on at the moment. There's cricket.
Yeah.
There's under 19s World Cup cricket. There's netball, hockey. There's a lot going on. So it's a good time of year, I think, especially if you're a football code follower in Australia, and obviously the rugby and the AFL are not in season. There's always a lot going on, which is good. I'm just looking forward to really not caring in the next week, because I spoke last week about the Australian Open. I was looking forward to watching some tennis, and which I did. And at that point in time of recording, we had I think half a dozen at least Aussie players still going in the Australian Open tennis. However, we have lost all but two. All singles competitors are out. Nick Kyrgios lost the other night, which is unfortunate. However, the fairy tale retirement run of Sam Groth, Leighton Hewitt and Sam Groth continues. The two old stages have knocked out like the second seed and the fifth seed in the doubles, and Sam Groth is retiring, and so he asked Leighton Hewitt to. So when Leighton retired, he asked Sam Groth to be his partner in the doubles that year. And Sam's now retiring this year. Sam Groth never really got to the heights. I think he has a record for the fastest serve ever. I think it was like 220 kilometers, something like that. Massive guy, good tennis player. Never great though, unfortunately. Though he asked Leighton to come back and play doubles with him on his retirement run, and they're out there having fun. They're pushing themselves as far as they can. They're both like on their last legs. Leighton's getting like oxygen tank on the sidelines, and he's got his walker when they leave the thing, and they've got their rascals out the front that they're jumping on because they're mobility scooters and that. But it's fantastic to watch, and these are two great servants of the game of tennis. So I'm looking forward to just not caring so much about the Australian cricket because we lost the series already, and obviously in the singles, but just seeing the guys go through is going to be exciting. Now it's time for everyone's second favourite segment, to the segment that no longer exists. It's Legend of the Week. Now I'm gonna throw it to you, Nick. I know we've spoken about him. I imagine it's the one we've spoken about, but it might. Maybe you're gonna throw up a surprise. I don't know. Things happen, This is anything can happen on Grandstand Gurus. Who's your Legend of the Week?
Danny Amendola.
Receiver.
Number 80. Yep. Slot receiver. Number 80 for the Patriots. He performed like 2 touchdowns, all these immaculate bloody receptions to keep him going. Like, like we said, that 3rd and 18, he just come down with it. Touchdown in the back of the end zone to win the game. It's just... He performs in the playoffs. Like Gronkowski, give him a nickname called Denny Playoff Amendola, which I think is a horrible nickname, by the way.
Terrible.
But yeah, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if he got MVP, but he should have got MVP for that game.
Mm.
Like, in a game where a lot of the other receivers seem to have bricks for hands, he just come home with it.
Took everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good call. Good call. My nomination for Legend of the Week goes to a young man by the name of Lloyd Pope. Now, if you don't know who Lloyd Pope is, and I guarantee you 99% of the people listening will not know who Lloyd Pope is. Lloyd Pope is a young 19-year-old leg spinner who's playing currently in the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. And today, Australia were playing England in the quarterfinals for a spot in the semis, I believe. And Australia were bowled out miserably for about 124. England were none for 47, I believe. Enter Lloyd Pope. Now, I'm gonna paint the picture for you, Nick, of this young man, Lloyd Pope. I want you to
blank canvas.
I want you to imagine a guy about my height, not the most athletically built man in the world. Ron Weasley, face and hair, long red hair. Wow. Ron Weasley face. They call him the Pope Mobile. Enter Lloyd Pope, young man. He takes 8 for 35.
Wow.
Off his 9 overs, wins the game for Australia. England didn't even get close to the total. Just absolutely ripping googlies and leg spinners. Assisted by his captain, who took a few fantastic catches at slip. But this was just this is a great thing. Australia has a very proud history of leg spinners, starting with Richie Benaud, obviously coming down. Bill Laurie, not Bill Laurie. And then Shane Warne, a fantastic leg spinner, obviously the greatest of all time as far as cricket bowling goes. So it's fantastic to see a young leg spinner turn the ball like that and rip some flippers and some googlies, and it was exciting to see. And this guy's got cult hero written all over him with his long red hair and his Ron Weasley face. So Lloyd Pope, you are my Legend of the Week.
Is he just a recent addition to the team or something?
Well, this is he's still in the under-19. So
okay, right.
Yeah, playing in the under-19s World Cup. He put on a fantastic show today. It was very good to watch, extremely good to watch.
Where's he from?
I think he's from Adelaide. He's a South Australian boy. So yeah,
won't hold that against him.
No, of course not. It probably explains the red hair, but we won't hold that against him. But I'm excited to see what is in store for the future of young Lloyd Pope. Nick?
Jack.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been another episode of Grandstand Gurus. This is a product of the Explosion Network. You can find all of our content over at www.explosionnetwork.com, and you can follow us both on Twitter. I am at Kruse_mate. Nick is at Lord N. Pryor. The Explosion Network is at Explosion Pod, and Grandstand Gurus is at the very creative Grandstand Gurus. And you can also follow Platinum Explosion at Plat Podcast. We now have a Twitter for our PlayStation podcast, so head over to Twitter, give us all a follow, like a tweet, retweet something we've tweeted out, find an old photo from like 2007. I don't know if I had Twitter in 2007. As a fact, I can tell you for a fact I didn't. Maybe 2011? I don't know. Who knows? It's not important. How do I normally end this show? Plat. Keep on standing.
Hey, it's Ashley here to let you know what you can expect from the Explosion Network in January. Feeling nostalgic for 2017 already? Then you should check out the Explosion Network's Best of 2017 Top 10 lists over at explosionnetwork.com. We'll let you know the best games, movies, TV, and more from last year. Got some disposable income that's burning a hole in your pocket? Then why not spend it on some sweet Explosion Network merch? Head over to designbyhumans.com/shop/Explosion Network. Pick up a shirt, or a mug, or a hoodie, or even a sticker. They're all things that you can buy on the shop, and they mail out to you. It's crazy. Of course, our weekly shows continue. Pleasure Explosion Mondays, Platinum Explosion Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus Thursdays, each at 12 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Catch our live streams on twitch.tv/Explosion Network and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all our explosive content. Plat. Sound effects. I don't know how to end this ad read. Good luck editing this, Dylan.